chair, Sheree, and today I wanted to do another real talk. The last real talk I did was the Racism in America real talk. If you guys haven't seen it, you might want to go check that out. You know, I talk about some really interesting things and some issues in America with racism in a specific instance of racism that I actually experienced myself. Today I want to talk about a topic kind of in the same, kind of similar area, talking about race issues, but not so much racism. If you saw the title, basically I want to talk about something. I see some people have an issue with this. Basically a lot of rambling. I'm trying to get my thoughts out to make sense. African Americans at PWIs, predominantly white institutions, versus African Americans at HBCUs. This was an issue that I noticed that people have sometimes. I don't think it's people, the African Americans at the PWIs, that have an issue with it so much as the African Americans at the HBCUs, or African Americans that aren't in college, but they feel that African Americans that went to the predominantly white institution are sellouts, or they shouldn't be there, or whatever. For example, to be specific, on Instagram, someone said they feel that Black people shouldn't be at LSU, which is the university that I attend. Basically, they don't want you there. They never wanted you there. Before, you couldn't even go to their school, and this, that, and the third. To be honest with you, this is true. They may not want us there. I'm going to say they may not want us there because that's not speaking for everyone. But as far as they didn't want us there in the past, that's very true. And the person who said that was very accurate about that. And it's like, I wanted to comment back when I saw the post, but then I was like, no, I'm not about to do that and go back and forth with somebody when it's going to be a situation at the end of the day. We're just going to have to agree to disagree, because they won't understand why I'm at the PWI, and they won't understand my reasoning for doing what I'm doing, because they have a fixed mindset and believing in what they believe in, and that's okay. Nothing's wrong with that. But at the end of the day, you can't. Sometimes I feel like people they state their opinions, but it's like they're so headstrong in what they believe in that their opinion becomes fact to them, I guess. And it's not, because it's like, that's from your opinion, but you don't understand from being an African American at a PWI. So that's just a subject that I want to talk on, since I haven't did a real talk since my last one about racism in America. And I thought it just might be a little fun to just throw little real talks in from time to time, instead of always doing fashion and makeup and stuff like that. So first off, yes, like I said, I go to LSU, Louisiana State University, which is a predominantly white institution here in Louisiana in the South. And like I said, the person was very accurate when they said that LSU didn't even want Black people. I mean, LSU amongst many other schools, at one point in time in the past, it was a separation. It was segregation. Whites over here, blacks over there. They wanted things to be separate. And it's not like that anymore. Not saying that they don't want it to be. I'm sure there's some people that want it to still be separate, and they think, it's some whites that think that they're better than blacks. I've mentioned my experience in my previous real talk. But the thing is that even though they didn't want us in the past, that doesn't mean that should let all the fighting and all the protesting and all the marches go in vain for us to have this right to attend school and get the same education as the whites, if that makes any sense. Martin Luther King and all those people fought for us to have these rights, and then for us to not even take advantage of that. Like, I feel like that would be a little ungrateful, if you ask me. Not saying that every black person has to go to a PWI, but I'm saying that it's nothing wrong with us going to a PWI, because if we went by how this person thinks, okay, black people shouldn't be at a PWI, then that would just be continuing on segregation. It really would, because okay, none of the black people went to LSU. So we all over at Southern and all the other HBCUs, which is nothing wrong with that. But that's continuing on segregation. Like, what would be the point of that? And another thing, a main reason why I felt like it was important to go to LSU, there's nothing wrong with HBCU. Like I said, my best friend goes to a HBCU. Nothing's wrong with that. I respect it, you know what I mean? And embracing our culture, and our heritage. But at the same time, my reasoning, one is I'm going there for free. I have TOPS, which is a scholarship where if you stay in Louisiana, you get to go to an institution. You get to go to college and they'll pay for you to stay in your state. They want us to stay in Louisiana, and a way to get us to do that, the incentive is for them to pay up to the flagship university of tuition to get us to stay here. So since I have TOPS, I'm obviously going to take advantage of that stay here in Louisiana. So that's why I didn't go out of state or anywhere else. And if my scholarship is paying up to LSU, I'm going to get an LSU education. I just feel like it makes sense. I mean, you can go to Southern if you want to, but at the same time, another reason is, in the real world, everybody around you is not going to look like you. You're going to have to deal with people that's Asian. You're going to have to deal with people that's white. Your boss might be Mexican or white or Asian or whatever. And of course, we know that the world is just not black, but I'm preparing myself. I feel like LSU is a blueprint for the real world, because you're going to deal with people of all different races, from all different backgrounds, with different personalities, with different mindsets. I'm sure I walk past racist people every day, like I mentioned about the experience I had in my Racism in America video. So, but that's life. And going to LSU teaches me how to deal with life and deal with people of all races and religions and backgrounds. So it's just like, going to a HBCU would have been great. Don't get me wrong. I know I would have enjoyed it, and I would have had a great college experience. But at the same time, I don't feel like that would have been the blueprint for the real world. It's mainly a historically black institution. Of course, they have people of other races that attend HBCUs, but that's not, if we did a ratio to the real world, that wouldn't be it. I felt like LSU is basically what the real world, blueprint for the real world. Everybody's not going to look like you. You know what I mean? You're not going to relate to everyone. And that's the type of atmosphere I need to be in to prepare myself for dealing with things like this. I mean, not like this, but dealing with issues in the real world. I'm prepared. I'm in an institution where I'm dealing with people of different races and learning to understand them as well as them understanding me and my background and my culture and why we do this or why we think this way. You know what I mean? That's just to say why I decided to attend LSU. Another thing that kind of irks my nerves is the fact that it's already enough division amongst different races, but then our race, the African American race, seems to still find ways to have division amongst ourselves. For example, the light skin versus dark skin. That's something that's always kind of been something that we joke around about. I even joke around about it, sometimes, like, yeah, I'm not going to text you back on light skin. It's just a joke. We play around with it. But at the same time, some of those things, it's a little deeper. I don't really do that much, but I mean, the team light skin, team dark skin thing is another way of dividing ourselves instead of coming together in unison for a greater cause. don't know, it's deeper than, you know, our little jokes and stuff like that, because they actually have documentaries about this. I think one is called For Lightskin Girls, or a documentary about light-skinned girls, and then they have a documentary about dark-skinned girls. To sum it up, you know, dark-skinned girls always felt like they weren't pretty, or they weren't as good as the light-skinned girls, and it's something that was kind of preset in their minds, you know, from all the way back from slavery days, when it was like the light-skinned black girls would be, or black women would be inside of the house, while the dark-skinned slaves would be outside. It's things that make people think the way that they think today, and stuff like that carries on. And it's just kind of like when we do the light-skinned, dark-skinned thing, it still kind of causes a division, even though sometimes it's fun, but it's just like you have to know when to cross the line, you know what I mean? Because that's something that truly does affect some people, and they take these things to heart. Society always try to make it seem like light-skinned girls are better than dark-skinned girls, when really that's not true. But that's one separation within our race. And another way, like I mentioned, is the blacks that go to PWIs versus the blacks that go to HBCUs. I see it all the time. Our main two universities here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, is LSU and Southern University. And the thing that drives me crazy is just like, it's so much division amongst the black race, because they feel like the blacks at LSU think they're better than the blacks at Southern, and it's just like that's not even the case. And then another thing, it'll be the simplest thing, like it could be our football game, for example. We'll have a football game and we lose our football game, so then Southern will come at us like, yeah, y'all that's why y'all lost y'all football game, and and then it's like LSU or go at Southern like, y'all couldn't even play us, and we not even in the same You know what I mean? It's just like just ways to, like the simplest thing could get us to battle with our own race, and it's just like that's stupid. We need to, like I said, come together in unity for things that's bigger than us, such as fighting against issues such as Trayvon Martin incident, or the Mike Brown, or things like that, instead of fighting about a football game. You know what I mean? Like it's things like that are kind of irrelevant, even though it's a big deal here in Louisiana. When LSU loses the game, it's a big deal, but it doesn't matter, because it's just like we shouldn't be battling with our own race. That's the point I'm trying to make. If anything, we should really want the best for Southern University, because that's an HBCU that represents our culture. You know what I mean? Like, we should want the best. Like, to be honest with you, if I'm in a position in the future where I can give back to a university, and I pray to God that I am, hopefully I'm very successful, and I move up in the world where I can give back to my community. And it's crazy, because like, even though I go to LSU and this is where I'm getting my degree from, I want to give back to Southern University, because they paved the way for blacks to get an education, and their boycotts, like for example, Southern University was where the first bus boycott actually happened, and that actually was the blueprint for boycott in Montgomery. I can't get my thoughts out correctly tonight, but I'm sure when I type it, when I post this video, I'll have my facts together. So it's just kind of like, I would never look down on Southern University for just the fact that it's so much history and culture for my people. And like I said, if I get to a point in life where I'm financially able to, I will give back to my HBCUs before I give back to the PWIs, because I feel like HBCUs is what really needs our support. You know what I mean? And it's just like, even though I didn't go there, that doesn't mean I'm not connected with them. If you get what I'm saying. And another thing that, besides that, the beef between the the PWI African Americans and the HBCU African Americans. Another thing that gets on my nerves is when people try to come at us and, you know, the African Americans and PWI is going to say like we're sellouts and we think we're better than them, da 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 da. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of like what the person was saying in their post. You know, they were saying like, you know, black people that go to LSU are sellouts and they don't believe that we should be there, and they're very, you know, pro-black, black power, Black Panther, all that. Nothing's wrong with it. That's fine. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, but that's just an opinion. That's not fact, because people are so quick to say what people should and shouldn't do, and you don't know what they're doing. For example, while I've been here at LSU 3.5 plus years, 2 months away from graduating, I did a lot for my community. So it's just like, don't try to say that generalize African Americans that go to LSU or PWIs and say that we're sellouts just because we attended a PWI, because you don't know what we're over here doing. For example, while I've been at LSU, I've been involved in every black organization that we have, and the minority ones. BSU, Black Student Union, NAACP, National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. I have even, you know, participated in events for Women's Minority Movement, an organization that started here at LSU, I think last year or this year. I think it was this year it actually, you know, got off the ground. And it was started by minority women, some of them who I know, and it made me proud, and I wanted to be involved with the events and things that they had going on. But back to what I was talking about, how people, you know, say that we're sellouts and stuff like that. Like, you don't know what we're doing over here. Like I said, I've been involved in those organizations. I have did community service out in my community with those organizations. I have protested with those organizations here on campus when things go on in society, racial injustice. I have protested and did things like wearing hoodies and doing blackout LSU to let people know that the black people really count and really matter. And just different protests, a protest for Mike Brown and all the people that were unjustly murdered. Trust me, trust and believe, the fight is still going on over here. You just don't know. You just don't see it because you're so busy judging the black people that's at a PWI. Like, I didn't come over here and join the white sorority and completely just own my race and my culture. I'm over here fighting for the same thing that the people over there at Southern is fighting for, and that's justice. Like the person said, at one point in time, black people were not allowed to come to LSU. They didn't even want black people walking on the parade grounds. But you know what? I don't let that faze me. I walk all over and I'll moonwalk over the parade ground now, because I feel like our people have fought too much for us not to now. We're over here wanting the same thing that the African Americans over there at the HBCU want, which is education, so that they can get their dream careers, so that they can better their life and live this American dream. So it's just like, I just really felt like I had to make this video, because that was something that was very important for me to discuss, because yeah, they didn't want us over here, you know what I mean? But we're here now, and we're here to stay, and we're gonna make an impact. If we weren't here, they wouldn't understand us. Like the guy who said the statements like, you know, black people shouldn't be at LSU. You should be glad we're over here at LSU. We over here proving that we just as good as them. And we over here making sure that we get our credit that's due. For example, for Black History Month, the homepage of the LSU website was talking about the first African American female architect that graduated from LSU. Like, if we weren't over here, we wouldn't be able to be showing these people that we just as good as them, even though some of them might think that we're still inferior. That doesn't matter. We over here doing what we gotta do. So it's just like, don't sit up there and try to discredit us and talk about we shouldn't be over here and they don't want y'all and they don't care about y'all unless you don't give a F about y'all. Okay, but you know what? At the end of the day, I'm about to get my diploma in about 2 months. So whether they want me here or not, I'm here. I was here. And I ain't going nowhere until 2 months. But yeah, much respect to all my African Americans that's over there at the HBCUs. Much respect to you guys, because we need you guys at the HBCUs to keep it up and running. But at the same time, also much respect should be given to the African Americans over here at the PWIs, because trust me, it's not easy. It's not easy. But we over here showing them that we just as good. You know, we already know we good, but we gotta show them. We gotta get the respect that we rightfully deserve. So somebody gotta do it. Somebody gotta come to the PWI. At the end of the day, I'm gonna close it out with, at the end of the day, just think about the Little Rock 9. The 9 students that went through torture to desegregate, and they were the first to desegregate schools. People spat on them, people kicked them, and the whites didn't want to desegregate. But somebody had to do it. And the Little Rock 9 did. And they are the reason why we can do this today. And it's more acceptable. Not even saying that it's acceptable, because obviously it's not, because of the comment from an African American that I know that said that we're sellouts for attending the PWI. It's still not acceptable, but it's more acceptable for blacks to attend PWIs. It's way more acceptable, obviously. You know, last year LSU had the highest graduating class of African Americans in history. Hopefully we can do that again. The reason why they fought to be desegregated was for us to get the same justice and rights and get the same education of quality as the whites. Why separate ourselves when we have the opportunity to be on their level? And not saying, because I know some people jump to conclusions, not saying that Southern is not on the level, but I'm saying being at the same institution in the same classrooms, going head to head about certain issues or things in class, topics, showing them our opinions and our views on things and issues, just like they can talk about theirs. Why not? At the end of the day, do not let that, we should never let things like that go in vain. You have to know your past to understand your future and your present. And at the end of the day, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. So that was my video. I hope you guys enjoyed that real talk. If you guys want to get more real talks, you guys can give me some topics and we can talk about it, and you guys can comment, leave comments, and give me your viewpoints on these things. But I just feel like it's certain issues that need to be discussed that people kind of avoid. I don't know why, but people avoid, and I'm getting to the point where it's like, okay, let's talk about it. So I'm gonna talk about these issues. I don't have all the answers. Sway. I do not have the answers, but at the end of the day, I have an opinion just like anyone else, and I got the freedom of speech to voice that. So that was my video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. SierraSheree.com is the website where you can check out any of my other videos. My Instagram and Twitter is SierraSheree. My website is www.sierrasheree.com. And my YouTube is youtube.com/SierraSheree1. So that's how you guys can find me. I hope you enjoyed this video. And thank you guys. Thank you so much for watching my video and supporting me. And I think I've said about another tonight. So deuces. She's like, see, look. And I read her text message, and it says that on the map above his bed, it says the word niggers over Africa. And it was crazy because when we came in, they were trying to cover it up and they hurry up and wiped it off.